And in terms of, I think, investing and teenagers, I think that educational systems around the world, I think, do a disservice because really kind of while we are taught compounding in a mathematical sense in math classes, there really is nothing taught in terms of investing and savings and runways and so on in high schools. And there are really three things that matter in terms of ending up being extremely wealthy over time, even if you have relatively modest earnings over your lifetime. So the first is, spending less than you earn is really important right from the beginning. Spending less than you earn is very important, and I wish that was reinforced in high school. Putting the savings in a low-cost index fund is also a very good idea. So you don't need to really understand, how to pick stocks or, find out what are good investments or any of that. Just, buy a low-cost index fund. And the third is the length of the runway, so it's really important to start early and as early as you can and start putting money away. And basically what's going to end up happening is a few decades later, you look to your right and you look to your left and you left all your peers way behind. And life is great. So yeah, I wish these basics were part of core high school curriculums around the world, but sadly they are not. Yeah, well, I mean, usually an investment in improving yourself is usually going to deliver the greatest returns. And especially if those investments are made very early in life. But I think the most important factor is to pursue your passion. So one should not do an MBA because it's going to raise your, compensation or open up more opportunities or any of that. One should be doing that if one is very passionate about management and, investing or just in general commerce and industry in general. So it is not easy as a young person to have clarity on what is your calling in life. And the more time you can spend early in life to try to get clarity on who you are and what, excites you and doesn't excite you is really important. And I think some clues of that will come to you when you notice that maybe in high school, you're excited about certain classes and certain subject and not so excited about other classes and other subjects. So start spending more time on the things that you're excited about, start thinking about careers, etc., in that direction. And I think self-learning is extremely important. If I look back at my undergraduate, computer engineering degree, there are really just a couple of courses I can think of that had a huge lifelong impact on me. One was an elective class I took on public speaking. And I really enjoyed that class and it was wonderful. And I just tossed a coin, take whether that class or technical writing, and it turned out public speaking was excellent. So I think to the extent that you can, because when we go through formal degrees and such, when you look back after 5, 10, 15 years, very little of what you learned during your school days is going to be relevant in the real world. What is really going to help you a lot in the real world is if you go to sleep every day a little wiser than when you woke up, and that you make reading a lifelong activity. And I think it's just like compounding. What happens in 10, 15, 20 years is that you look to your right, look to your left, and your peers are so far behind. And you've gone so far ahead, and you didn't go ahead because you just, sprinted really fast. It's more of a marathon than a sprint. But that distance keeps increasing daily, and you're enjoying the journey as well. So yeah, definitely I'd say invest in yourself through formal degrees and through self-learning. I mean, we have a limited time on planet Earth, try to make the most of it and try to enjoy the journey. Well, there are practicalities in the sense that basically when we pursue degrees, we don't have a lot of choice about, what courses we take and what professors we get and which classes are interesting, which classes are not. So a lot of that is going to be hit or miss. We don't have a whole lot of choice in there because, the only choice we have is whether we do the degree or not. So try to make sure that the degree is as closely aligned to what you're interested in. And I think beyond that, I think if you follow your nose, it will lead to great things. I think that what I've always found is that when I'm really curious about something and I'll go down a rabbit hole of trying to figure it out, many times it's extremely rewarding. In fact, I ended up in the investment business just because I accidentally picked up a book on investing to read on a flight from Heathrow to Chicago. And I really picked it up at random. And I never worked in the industry. I didn't have degrees in finance and so on. And it was really that book led me down a rabbit hole of other readings and other books and other writings. And here we are, So I think it's really important to pursue what you are really interested in and pursue it to the fullest extent that you can.